is March 27, 2022, springtime from Budapest, Hungary, a city of freedom, a city without mask, a city where people get back to normal and can breathe again. But not far from here, those are some noise, Ukraine-Russia thing. After a long time being in the America side of the world, in the south, in the center, being back toward the Middle East, in the east of Europe, center, I see the changes. I feel the frequency changes. To be honest, very love the energy here in Hungary right now compared to Portugal. In Portugal, despite of the opportunities of last years found there, it feels very odd, very low vibrance. This is the reason why most population of Portugal is vaccinated, and the regime there, with all what they are doing to people, it's like sheeple hard time. Here I feel more life, like last year in Serbia, and it feels like people are thinking here, and this is the reason why they say, hey, what the fuck, we are not going to comply with this. So this is for my impression, very generally description between the places. I would like to speak more of the astrology of the time and what is actually odd and what is happening, and how come that there are 13 countries right now that lifted completely the COVID, which is a good sign, Hungary among them, because some countries are benefited from slaves mentality or to control people. And this is a reason, I suspect, why some countries not. Anyhow, I just wanted to say that in Hungary, I feel the people are more free to think and to thrive than many places in Europe. Now, Hungary was part of an empire. It was connected somehow with all the regime of regime change in of the Ottoman Empire, and it's so beautiful city. To be the truth, to say the truth, very beautiful city. I see that architecture here that is beyond of 100 or 200 years. And if you watch the 6 hours video of the flat earth that I shared in all the last videos links, you already understand what all those architectures and the structures of the antennas are actually meaning. It's much beyond the design. They were heritage. Many times in the past to people, they just saw it like a design, but it's a technology that used by the natives. Many buildings here are of thousands of years long, just renovated and added on the architecture of the other times. So Hungary is one of those manifestations. It's fascinating to see how many coronas and structures that is beyond the regular architecture of the Italians. So what's happening? You know, we are a moment before starting the dramatic April. It's dramatic in a very weird way because the Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces, and it's a spiritual realm. It's the sleep time. In the moment you sleep, something is happening under you that you are not noticing. Pisces is the state of being sick, being miserable, being helpless. But when you are connected to the spiritual level with the God, maybe you are already in power again. But it's helpless for the physics. Whatever you try to hold, it's not yours. Nothing is yours. So that's why in the spiritual level, it's better. I'm watching all those buildings that we saw in Europe in many videos of the Second World War, how police came and took out the people from those buildings and removed them for concentration camps for whatever reason. And all those buildings remain empty and was a violent, hard reset, as we all know it. It's very scary seeing all this and saying all this, because it feels like the material is remaining, like our bones after death, but the soul that are giving life to those buildings not maybe continuing the mode we know today, and people are planning like this is mine forever. Uranus is about to meet the North Node in Taurus already this year in the summer, and not to speak the Jupiter and Neptune right now meeting, and still we are having Saturn squaring Uranus this year again, last time. This is the real deal, my friends. Bitcoin will go parabolic this year, later this year after the eclipses, and this is not a good sign. You know, we are speaking about such inflation that Bitcoin will rise against the dollar. It's going to be devastating to a lot of people, and we are speaking about major inflation of paying ridiculous amount of money for food, for gasoline. It will change the way of how we're behaving. That will be another level of restriction. That is not just the... They want to take it all, man, my friends. It's going to be a shift. East of Europe, that considered to be poor and underdog, will rise, and the west of Europe, Spain, France, England, let's put England aside right now, and then Netherlands, Belgium will drop, and the east side of Europe will rise. So imagine what sort of events may create this thing, and if it's going to be any fatalic solution of the Western Europe to help. Same for Canada and United States, because the shift will be to the South America. South America will rise, where despite of the chaos, despite of the dirt in a way, you will find much more abundance and opportunities there. In China and Asia, I'm still not sure. I'm not very much checking this side of the world, but of course there also will be major improvements between or transfer between specific areas. This time is to benefit those that are risking the status quo, that are advancing the people or going to the new world, to, or at least their agenda or the plan is to create a new value system, the new world. And those that are still attached or doing what they're doing or speaking what they're speaking in order to maintain their old world structure, actually are going to get a lot of splash of water in their face with shit inside. And those that will give the back to the old world and will go to the other direction will get a lot of support wind and will fly higher to magical places. This is the definition of the sky. Now, it's not a thing that will happen abracadabra in one day, but it will be pivotal events that every time the level will be higher and the group of people will start developing, because everyone will lose something, and sometimes we are losing our ego, and this is the most recommended one. But now with Aries is about re-identify who we are. It's not about the ego of protection and possession. It's about fighting for what is you. It's confusing to define what ego now. What is identity? Many things today feels to us that is us, that is our identity. my religious, my country, my certification of this or that. I'm vaxxed, I'm not vaxxed, I'm right, I'm left. Oh, please, is it your identity? This identity? Identity that someone is telling you how you should think, and in order to be in the Pisces world, like accepted, like to be one of the sheep, or one of the many, to be with identity that, yeah, me too, all the me too. This is the identity of Pisces. Me too. Ah, me too. 22. Ah, I'm 20. I'm 22. 222. You know? The identity of now should be totally different. You are different. Who you are, that you are completely different than your family. If you are feeling different from your family, from your environment, this is a good sign. You probably know who you are. You are different. And you are not trying to be like everybody else. You understand that you are calculating and building your life in a new path. And it's so important for now. And this is the call. Authenticate yourself. And don't be afraid to be the weirdo. Because this weirdo meaning that you are connected to your higher call. And each one, as we know that each person looks different, we are not twins. We are connected to a higher brain. But somewhere, someone above us wants to make everybody thinking and wearing the same thing, uniform, to unite us in a fake way. This is the Pisces trap. In the Aquarius era, we will need to fight for our differentiation and our freedom to be ourselves. Now it's just a little trigger to ask ourselves, what isn't anymore working for me to even imitate or trying to be like others? So the entire measurement and defining wealth and what you will do in war, that this is shortages of everything, what would you do with all this? Your worries needs to be now focused on other things. And that's what I'm going to start leading in this channel or parallel to other, about the new level of investment, of creating community, of the paradigm shift. Not just about how to put the money, how to invest, to push the button and to gain some points that you see on the screen, how much money you have. And you finally use maybe 10% of it for your daily use. This is an illusion of wealth, sitting on heavy wealth. But if we are going to use something that will going to have more value, as you know, my friends, I'm a little bit worried, but at the same time excited, because all the changes that we are doing right now, and we are bold to make changes, are going to find a divine, magical setup for us. But those that are remaining in the comfort zone and waiting for government to solve their problem by new rules that don't make sense anymore, are actually sinking, man. So we all have our dears. I tried to save my family from not taking the vax, and finally everybody got sick, whether by this or another flu, whatever it should be. But it's also about frequencies. How to save our people, the savings of our family, the investment of our family. You know how many people are sitting on mortgages that with us inflation will not be able to pay the mortgage? So think about subprime and beyond. And tension with military between countries and people. Imagine hiring a lot of men in different countries to the army. And I just spoke last week where I was in Madeira, a lot of Venezuelans there that immigrated to Venezuela from Madeira and now came back because in the 50s, in the dictatorship of Portugal, that was very, very bad, it was a war in Angola. And Portugal forced all the men to go to the army. A lot of people immigrated to Venezuela. That the dictatorship there was much better, or more allowing people to thrive, and started new life there, and it's pretty much prospered for 30 years there until the 80s. So this is some sirenas. This is to be in the city. A lot of noise. Fire or just fake? A lot of noise in the city. So weird being in the city. Even if it's comfortable, seeing places you're entering without mask, everything is fine. Just shows here a quiet place where you're not seeing people, but there are a lot of people in the other streets, a lot, and tourists going and back, and prices are high for every restaurants, you know, like all days. Now, it's never happened all the bad in one side of the world. This is the nature of time. It's all about everybody to this side of the boat, everybody to the other side. This is how you are managing the balance. It's all about balance. Even that we saw entire world in lockdown, but still were some countries, as I followed and showed you, that it was with freedom and maximum freedom than others. And it's possible to travel without the job. If you read, if you do research, if you understand your rights. There are things that I will not share in the public to some of my experts. It was ridiculous, but how amazing to know your rights and to stand for them. This is the era of Aquarius. You need to be knowledgeable, to know your rights, and to know that you are to find the justice yourself. You don't need just to follow as a sheeple. Everybody's saying this. This is what the ads are saying. What is happening now is asking all of us to develop bigger balls. If you are a woman or you are a gentle guy, and to be bold, and to ask yourself what I call to do. That maybe what you think they're, oh, I'm safe, I'm responsible, because you're staying in the same job that you hate, you are paid minimum salary, you are thinking that you are protecting your family, but you are actually going maybe not to save your family, because the events that may arrive to your city, wherever it's not everywhere, yeah, but read the signs on the wall, what's happening. So maybe for you will be better, pack your things and go somewhere else, or take your dears to somewhere else, or at least go to a place that you could support them economically from far away, as people did and immigrated all life, and then we are still seeing it with the Southern Americans going to the States or to the Europe, and how they are helping their family to survive. Some people and young people should move their ass right now, and it's not just the crypto thing. It's about building structures that will be involved, or even teach your parents how to handle a wallet when you could send it to them from an, I don't know, there are so many ideas of things that are popping in the head. Staying in the same place, putting your ass on the same place and thinking that you are stable and safe is illusion. Illusion. And even the safe work that's so much paid and you were able to pay for basic needs right now may be valueless. My friends, I don't have all the answers, but I just see the signs on the wall. And knowing that the world is changing and our paradigm shift is a spiritual awakening with Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces since 1857. And we cannot expect to a normality or another regular cycle of economy. This is something big, and it's going to touch life of people. Life of people. And it's also about going out from the matrix. You know, this year in Pascua, in Pesach, Passover, it's for a reason why it was the Exodus story, about coming out from slavery. Now, coming out from slavery doesn't mean that in one moment you become free and in your promised land. It's asking you to go out from the comfort zone and to build and to walk in desert to your promised land. And we need to be like militant, and the energy will work for the army, for the countries, like a military activity. It's about freeing them from the falling matrix right now. It's always double games happening on the same time. It's always. So hopefully it was inspiring something. This is general video recording outdoors from Budapest. Check the links below always if you want to get benefited from other things that I'm offering out of here.